Since most people have a general fear of snakes, I thought I'd do my bit for education and introduce you to some of the snakes that I come into contact with on a regular basis. Most of them are just puppy dog tame, but if I'm honest, one of them does worry me a bit. In general, snakes are fairly placid creatures, although some species can be more aggressive than others, and also each snake does have its own personality. We tend to portray them as vicious creatures, but in reality they're really not. This of course does not mean that you can go messing with one in the wild, because like any animal, it will defend itself. Snakes born in captivity, however, are generally very tame. Note, I say tame, not domesticated. There's a difference. But before I carry on, I'd like to thank my friend Mark, who's off camera right now. Not only has he taught me most of what I know about snake care, but he also brought his snakes through today, and he's responsible for keeping them comfortable. We have quite a few animals here today, and it is a bit chilly, but we've got bright lights and some of them might get a bit stressed out. Hence, he's here to take care of them. Also, if anything goes wrong, which it shouldn't, he's here to take care of the animal first and then deal with any bleeding body parts I may have. Something interesting to note is that snakes can come in different morphs, which is completely dependent on genetics, and they can come in different patterns and colors even though they are from the same species. You don't really find that many different morphs in the wild, but through breeding programs we've created some really stunning ones. The first 4 snakes are all corn snakes, with 3 of them being juveniles. Corn snakes are found throughout the southern US, and they are one of the most common snakes in the pet trade, along with ball pythons. Now each one of them is actually a different morph, so have a look at the different colorations that they have. So this is Salazar. He's about 3 years old now, and he's one of mine. Corn snakes can live for 15 to 20 years, so they really are a long-term pet. He's what's known as an oak tea morph, which is very similar to the classic morph, except his colors are a lot brighter. I'm guessing when he's fully grown he'll hit a length of about 1.2 meters, which is a fairly good size for a corn snake. When I got him, he was actually a feisty little bugger, but he's since calmed down a lot, although lately he's been getting some grumpy tendencies. Oh well done, you pooped. And you are stinky! Stinky! Next we have Diablo, and he's also one of mine. He's the brother of Salazar, and they actually came from the very same clutch, so you can see how different the genetics can be between them. He's an amelanistic morph, which means he lacks the ability to produce a black pigmentation. Now most people would call this albino, but in snake terms that's not really the right terminology to use. The actual reason he's so much bigger than his brother is because he eats like a demon. Give me a kiss, give me a kiss. Kisses, kisses. Play nice. And then we have Jake, who's also a juvenile corn, but he's not related to Diablo Salazar, and he belongs to Jolene and Ali. What's interesting here is he completely lacks red pigmentation, which means he is an anuthristic morph. So you can see they all have exactly the same pattern, but their colors are different depending on what pigmentation each snake can produce. The last of the corn snakes is Corny, and you can tell a child was involved in the naming. Corn snakes either get their name from the Aztec corn scale on the belly that you can see there, or from the fact that they take up residence quite often in the corn storage sheds, which makes them extremely beneficial to humans, because they hunt the mice that are in there. Where are you going? Where are you going? Yes, you're a cutie boy. Yeah, you're a cutie boy. But you need to let go now. Let go. Let go. You're going back. There you go. Oh, you're quite squirmy. Yo! Relax, relax, relax. Relax. This squirmy little one is Troy, and he's a milk snake. Whoa! Ow! That was uncalled for, and he's latched onto my shirt. Okay. He's actually evolved to have the same coloration, or very similar coloration, to the highly venomous coral snake, which is quite lethal, but you can tell the difference between them by a simple rhyme. Red next to black, it's a friend of Jack. Red next to yellow, just open this lid, we'll kill a fellow.
Huh? He didn't bite you?
No, he just caught the shirt.
Oh, okay.
What?
Wash your hands. You can smell the corns.
Oh. Now you fucking tell me! You could have told me that earlier!
Oops.
And lastly we have Merlin, who's another one of Mark's bundle of joys. And he's kind of the one that worries me. Oh, looks like you're a bit behaved today. Thank God for that. I was psyching myself up the whole night last night for getting tagged today. Merlin here is a red-tailed boa that you normally find in the Central and South Americas. And trust me, he's got quite a bit of strength in him. He's still a juvenile, and he'll probably reach a length of 2.5 meters because he's male. And that's good because females can reach a length of 3.5 meters. Normally they're actually a very docile and calm snake. Where are you going? But Merlin here has a tendency to be quite grumpy. Okay, I'm going to trust you now. I want to trust you. They get their name, if I can unkink him a bit. If you can see the tail there is a more red color than the rest of him, hence the name red-tailed boa. Now sometimes I do get asked if I ever get bitten by my snakes, and as you've seen I actually do get tagged on occasion, and this is just par for the course when you're keeping reptiles. At some point you're going to get tagged, just like if you own a dog, at some point they're going to poop in the house. Now some people will brag about how many times they get bitten, but 9 times out of 10 it's because of their own damn stupidity. And there are no badges for getting bitten. It's like getting a badges for being a schmuck. I'll then get asked whether it hurts or not, and yeah, it really depends on the size of the snake and how they're biting. If they're just striking, it can sting a bit, but if they latch on and then start to coil, as they would normally do with food aggression, yeah, that does hurt a bit. The thing is, what most people don't realize is the damage that a snake bite does, if it's not a venomous snake, is actually very little. Our miniature 6 kilogram dachshund does a lot more damage if he bites you than a 60 kilogram snake would do. You are actually very well behaved today. I am very thankful. Thank you, brother. Well, that's it for me, guys. I hope you learned something from today, and hopefully if you take anything away from this, you'll realize that snakes aren't really the vicious creatures that we make them out to be, although Troy did do an excellent job of trying to prove me wrong. If you guys want to know more about snakes and reptiles, I'll put some links to my favorite YouTube channels about them in the description below. I'd like to thank Mark again, also Jolene and Ali, who has his own YouTube channel by the way, link in the description, for letting me borrow their snakes and for bringing them here just so I can show you guys what it's all about. If you enjoyed this video, show that like button some love, share it on social media, you can subscribe by clicking this big red button, and you can also follow me on Twitter. Have a good one. Cheers.